This is Cara McMinn and Tell Your Story Memorial Ride. I have made it here to Ottawa, Ontario, capital city of Canada. This is awesome. It's everything.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I just kind of saw you guys talking here. I just wanted to know, like, what are you up to?
Okay, that's awesome. This is Tell Your Story Memorial Ride. I have cycled across Canada now, around 4,000 of the 5,800 kilometers. It's taken me 3.5 months. Yes, it's taken me 3.5 months to get here. And so my final destination, in fact, is Ottawa. This is everything that I have worked for. I have been cycling to the first bit of time for the COVID-19 vaccine and to give a shot of support to the families of those that have been injured from the COVID-19 vaccine, also known as the
I appreciate you kind of coming out, you know, fighting for what you believe in. It takes courage to kind of do something like that. So, thanks for just using your right to free speech.
And in front of this building, on this property, with everything that has gone on around here, with the convoy and all of that. Whereabouts are? What's your thing? Do you live local? What's happening with you?
Actually, I don't live local. I traveled here I traveled a ways just to come here, similar to you, but not as far. But right now I'm speaking out against the war that's happening in Yemen to support currently, Canada is supplying $15 billion of arms and weapons to the Saudi-led coalition, and currently there's a genocide in Yemen in which over 250,000 children under the age of 5 are dying. I shouldn't say dying, are dead, according to United Nations Development Program.
Would you repeat that? What?
So, right now, from when this war started between Yemen and Saudi Arabia, Canada has been supplying them with weapons. So the number one supplier of weapons is the United States. Number two is Canada, and we're supplying $15 billion worth of weapons. Those weapons are being used to kill innocent children and people in Yemen. And currently, according to a United Nations report, over 250,000, over 250,000 children under the age of 5 have died due to our involvement in this conflict. So I'm just trying to bring awareness to it. You know, basically we're talking about Ukraine all the time because we have a bad guy to point to in Vladimir Putin. When there's a bad guy that's the Canadian government, we don't talk about it. There's virtually nothing to talk about or that you'll see in mainstream media about Yemen. If you Google, you might see a Toronto Star article from 5 years ago or a CBC article from 2 years ago. But if you look at what's going on in Ukraine, if you look at the past month, you'll probably see 50 articles. So that's basically what I'm trying to bring attention to and what I'm trying to bring awareness to. So are you going to travel back by bike, or how is this going to go if you're getting back?
I'm looking for a ride. Here I am. My thumb
Are you
out.
serious?
You know what? I've made lots of friends along the way. And yeah, I have been sufficiently supported with places to stay, meals prepared for me, a place to do my laundry, and opportunities to have conversations just like this one. And even if people don't appreciate what I've got going on, they don't like my message, that doesn't bother me. If people are angry because they have understood that I am trying to get the message out on vaccine injury and death in this country, people are dying from an experimental drug, and if I am rejected because I'm talking about that truth, I'm not bothered by that. I can move on and have done so to the next town, have the same conversation with other people, and get a very mixed response. Some are supportive, some, I have to tell you, the majority don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what, and I mean, I'll let you go after this because I know you guys are doing something here, but I just wanted to let you know, like, I mean, that's a problem with Canada and what's going on today. It's not just Canada. It could be more of a worldwide thing, but I know what's happening in Canada, and there's no dialogue anymore. Regardless if I agree with your position or not, and regardless if you agree with my position or not, there needs to be some sort of dialogue between people instead of you're a right-wing extremist or you're a left-wing or you're a communist or instead of throwing insults, it would be better for people to have dialogue, for people to talk, for us to learn from each other, to show kindness and compassion. I don't know what's happened to Canada in the past few years, but nobody talks anymore. There's no more dialogue. Nobody cares to share ideas and thoughts or anything like that anymore. And I don't want to say nobody. That's a little strong actually, but there's a lot of people. It's a lot. It's not the way it was. And we need to get back to the way we were. We need to say hello, wave, smile, and just treat each other like brothers and sisters, like that we are. We're all Canadian. Yeah. So maybe I'll let you go at this point, but I really appreciate you just let me jump in, and and I'm sorry to interrupt, and if just in case if you ever wanted to visit my website or what I'm doing, I'm at www.justanotherhumanbeing.com.
Okay.
So just visit the website. It'll show
Just
everything.
another human being.
Yeah, it will show everything about Canada supplying the weapons to Saudi Arabia. It will also show a controversial bill called C-11, which it's in the Senate right now. It's close to being passed into law. It's basically, and it's been admitted by Jagmeet Singh. I have video of him and I have video of Trudeau, where they admit that it's being used to control what is seen in our data feed. So what is seen in Twitter, what is seen in YouTube. They want to be able to use the CRTC to control what is prioritized and deprioritized in Canadian data feeds. How they're going to do that, I don't know, because they're having secret amendments that have been put in. They're not talking about it. They're not willing to show it. They just shoved it through the House of Commons, and right now it's currently in the Senate, and hopefully the senators, not the hockey team, but hopefully the senators, drop this bill and it doesn't get through. But if it does get through, then the CRTC is going to have control over what can be prioritized and deprioritized over the internet. So just as an example, if they want to prioritize, let's say Trudeau goes to the next election, if he wants to prioritize the Liberal campaign and, hey, let's put the Liberal campaign up here, let's prioritize it way up high, and the Conservatives are all his opposition, you're way at the bottom, you're way down here. So that's the kind of power that he's going to be able to have if this passes the Senate and it becomes law. So we'll see what happens. That should honestly go down in the next couple of weeks. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No apology needed. Thank you.
Thank you for just talking and explaining who you are and where you're coming from. And good luck, and thanks for all your courage. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. Thank you. And that, just so you know, that bill applies to you as well, by the way.
To be honest with you, I'll tell you that the actions are already in place, and now they're just trying to legalize it.
Yeah.
So it's already taking place. I'm already down at the bottom of the list for videos. CBC and BBC, they're all at the top. So it's actually already happening in real life. But now we just want us to have it legal, so that way nobody could question it. So you're
or sue them, I guess, because if we right now it's technically illegal for them to deprioritize it if the Canadian government's involved. Like, I mean, right now they'll try and hide it. If they are, and most likely they are, like we're talking about the Ukraine and Yemen stuff, let's prioritize one thing and deprioritize another, right? So most likely that is what's going on right now. But if they're caught, legal action could be taken.
it's okay. I just like to keep it up so people can hear all
No, that's
conversations.
fine. Yeah, no, if they're caught, I mean, legal action could be taken against them. But if it's brought into law and it becomes legal, that hey, no, it's a law now. We are allowed to control what can be said, seen, and done online. Then they can't be sued. They're going to be immune to any type of lawsuits or legal action. So, I'm doing my best to bring awareness because people like you specifically, you went out of your way.
Meaning a YouTube creator or an independent cameraman, or what do you mean people like me?
Just people, but I mean, I'll say that you're most likely, I would say, an independent journalist. That's maybe what I would classify you as. You know, you're wanting to display what you believe in, and I respect that. And it shouldn't be up to a higher authority. It can be up to YouTube. It's YouTube's platform. But for the government to take control and, you know, insert themselves and be like, hey, you know what? I don't like what he's saying. Let's put him to the bottom of the list so nobody else can hear what he's saying. It's not okay. If I am interested in what you have to say, and I'm interested in independent journalists, let's just say, and my YouTube feed recommends independent journalists, that's what it should do. It shouldn't be like, no, we're going to deprioritize that and we're going to recommend CBC. That's what
So I'll tell you an interesting thing that you can go to check out to maybe prove or disprove what I'm stating, how it's already in place.
Yeah, it is.
If you go on YouTube and you put Freedom Convoy 2022,
yeah,
and you just let YouTube do its thing,
yeah,
your first 50 to 100 are all going to be sponsored, paid by the government channels of propaganda, I like to call it.
Yeah.
The only way you're going to get the independent journalists is if you go to the sort by button and sort by ratings. How many people gave a thumbs up to that video? Now all of a sudden, independent, my videos, live from the shed, bubble bus, all the independents will come up.
Yeah.
So if you don't do sort by function, and you just do the YouTube regular search on that particular one that I've done, and I know a couple other ones as well, then boom, you get the government-sponsored journalists. So it's already happening. And I'm out trying to bring awareness to that too. I've been yelling on street sides at protests in different cities about Kill Bill C-11 to actually give them the authority now to just do it and everybody stand behind it. You know, you were saying earlier about we don't talk to each other anymore, and basically the mass of us, and I'm going to go with 90% or higher, it's only the fringe minority that are willing to hug and chat.
But you know what? Like, I mean, listen, you're an individual, she's an individual, I'm an individual. We're all different people. We're supposed to have disagreements from time to time. It's how we handle those disagreements that shows our true character of who we are. We're supposed to do that. The fact that, you know,
that's what's supposed to make Canadians Canadians, I think. The ability for me to disagree with you, but yet us still converse and not attack or turn away, or, you know.
I don't have to agree with her, I don't have to agree with you, and you guys don't have to agree with me, but, you know, we should be able to be civilized and have a conversation about it. And that's something that's kind of dying out, I've noticed over the last few years, where people aren't really civilized anymore. There's a lot of, you know, people angry. It's you know, I'm angry that they have this position or they have this type of thought process, and it's just like, I'm a person. I can, you know, I should have the freedom to think and do and be whatever I want. As long as I'm not hurting anyone, I don't see the problem with it. So, you know, I don't really understand it, to be honest. I'm trying to make sense of it. I think we've kind of just been inside a little bit too long over the past couple of years. But with what's going on with Bill C-11, you know, for the government to be able to control data and information that's being distributed to the public is too much power. Like, we need to have a redistribution of power. I'm not saying the tech companies need to have all the power either, because people are like, oh, do you want the billionaires? And, what needs to happen is there needs to be a redistribution of power from, you know, these big tech companies, but not to the government, but to the people. It needs to come back to us. So, you know, right now they're fighting to take control of algorithms, where the government needs to control the algorithms and we need to, you know, prioritize and deprioritize things and all that kind of stuff. Instead, why don't make algorithms open source? Why don't you make it so everybody can see it? If I want to see it, you want to see it, she wants to see it. If anyone wants to see it, they should be able to see it. And then guess what? We should be able to criticize that. If we don't like what Facebook is doing with their algorithm, or we don't like what YouTube is doing with their algorithm, we can criticize it. But it shouldn't be just open source to the government. It shouldn't just be like, okay, you can see what's going on, but nobody else can. How do we know? How do we know if we disagree with what's going on, if we're not able to view and see what they're doing behind the scenes? It needs to be made publicly available. There shouldn't be any secrets. It needs to be open. There needs to be open dialogue again, open communication, and we just need to have information to be open, not controlled.
And, you know, you brought up Saudi Arabia and Yemen. I have no idea what you're talking about.
That's fine, yeah.
No, that's the point that what we're talking about right now. The government's squashing what you're trying to bring awareness to and I watch all kinds of news, but yet here I am totally ignorant to what you're saying.
I don't want to say ignorant.
So I want to thank you and get you to repeat again your website.
Yeah. My website, it's www.justanotherhumanbeing.com. And there I have a bunch of videos that will actually illustrate what I'm talking about. As far as Canada supplying Saudi Arabia with weapons, the deaths that are being done, I have United Nations reports on there. I have major news media stories and articles on there. Even the CBC, just in case for anybody who wants to say, hey, you know, I don't know if I can trust these sources. I even have the CBC on there. I have Global News. I have a bunch of major news media outlets that are talking about what's going on in Yemen, what's going on with Bill C-11. We need to be made aware of it, and you know, we can't just hide these things and prioritize where we're the good guys in Ukraine, but where we're the bad guys, let's just sweep that under the table and nobody's going to hear about it. We can't have things like that. Information needs to be open. We can't let the government control data and information that's being distributed to the Canadian population.
Well, thank you, Sean, for sharing with us and coming over and chatting with us. I'm going to put a link down and below this video. We're going to get some information from you after I shut down the camera, and I'll put a link down there and get us a nice title, and we'll have this as a separate video and conversation of someone we got to meet today. So thank you very much.
Honestly, I'm really like, I talked to somebody else who was here too. There's a young couple that was here as well, and they thanked me for what I'm doing. Like, I just asked him to take a photograph, and then he's asking like, why are you baking in the sun? What's going on? And you know, we talked about it, and the thing is that they were open to listening to me. Like, they listened, and they found out that I'm just not some crazy guy who's dressed up with you know, something on his head and dressed up in something that's all in white. Like, they talked to me, they actually understood what I'm talking about. I even told them, I said, hey, if you want to Google this or Google that, you will find major news coverage on certain items that I'm talking about, and they were willing to listen. It was really great. So I really appreciate both of you guys. Like, honestly, I really appreciate, you know, all the courage it took for you to, I'm sure you were riding in the rain and things like that as well.
Not much, and I don't find that I'm courageous at all. I'm wired this way. This is what I do. So I would have done through this summer.
Well, you're wired with courage, because honestly, you're putting yourself out there. You know, anybody could. There's some people who disagree that, and I don't see much violence, but let's say I won't go too much farther into it. There's certain things that I might not want to say that I don't want to trip over, but I'll just say, you know what? No, you're a brave person. You're standing up for what you believe in, and that takes guts. So I mean, whether you're wired with guts or are you know, you just said enough is enough, and I'm gonna have I need to share whatever information I have. I really appreciate both of you for coming out. You just even reaching out to me. That's something else, man. So
more of us need to do this.
Yeah.
More of us need to do what you're doing, what Cara's doing, what I'm doing, and hopefully we can get those that are still in denial and that have been brainwashed their whole lives from our government to maybe open their eyes to another source of information. That's all we can ask.
You know, all I really want people to do, whether, you know, hey, again, I don't have to agree with you, I don't have to agree with you, you guys don't have to agree with me, but as long as people are open to information, just be open to it. Just, you know, let's read this, or let's watch this. And you know what? If you still watch it, or you still read it, and you're like, no, that's crazy, that's fine. People are allowed to believe whatever they want to believe, but people just need to be open instead of immediately, without even listening to you. I could have just said, oh, she's got some flags, she's crazy, this guy's filming her, he's crazy, this guy has something on his head, he's crazy. It shouldn't be like that, and you know, we need to treat each other with respect. We're all Canadians. Whenever I look out the window, all I see is Canadians, and you know, I love each and every one of you. So, you know,
I don't know if you guys have noticed, but when we were first here half an hour ago, there was one police car driving around in circles, and now we have 4 that are parked.
Yeah, no,
So I'm going to conclude this.
Yeah. As soon as I came here, they parked here. As soon as I came here, they were kind of like where they are now. They were all sitting down there having a powwow. You know,
hello.
Look at me, right?
Hello.
Hi. So my name is Cara McMinn, and I am cycling.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. You got a card or anything?
I do not, but I can just give you, when you're done, man, if you want to record what's going on, that's fine.
No, I don't have their permission and consent, so I'm not, we're shutting her down right now.
Yeah, that's fine.